get scared and want to turn away. But it isn't always strength that makes you stay. Strength is also making the decision to change your destiny. Zoraida Cordova. Disappearing from the world can sometimes feel like the only option when life backs you into a corner. I know this because I lived it. I disappeared not because I wanted to, but because I had no other choice. At the same time that COVID turned the world upside down, I was being prosecuted and facing a heavy legal battle that could have cost me 10 years of my life. It was as if the world and I were both going through a trial, and no one noticed when I vanished, because let's face it, we were all disappearing in our own way. The pandemic gave me the space to retreat into myself, to disappear from the noise and expectations of the world. While everyone was dealing with isolation, I was fighting a different kind of isolation, a legal battle that threatened my freedom. But here's the thing, that first disappearance became a blessing in disguise. The world was on pause, and so was I. I had the rare opportunity to reflect, rebuild, and recalibrate my life in silence. When I tell you that disappearing changed my life, I mean it. For years, I was burdened by the expectations of others, by the judgments that hung over me like a shadow. But when I was forced to disappear, I realized something powerful. Sometimes you need to step away from everything and everyone to truly understand who you are and what you're capable of. I was facing 10 years, but through relentless determination and the power of my silent season, I knocked it down to 4 months. I was isolated from everything I knew, but in that isolation, I found myself. And I emerged from the darkness transformed, unrecognizable even to myself. When you disappear from the world, you're not running away. You're creating space for change. During those months, I learned the art of letting go. I let go of the need to please others, the fear of judgment, and the habits that no longer served me. I stopped tolerating disrespect from others and from myself. I stopped making excuses for why my life wasn't where I wanted it to be. I became ruthless with my time and energy. No longer would I allow people or situations to drain me. I set boundaries like never before, understanding that my peace and sanity were more valuable than anything I had been sacrificing for. If someone didn't add value to my life, they no longer had access to me, period. Disappearing taught me how to protect my energy. I became intentional about who I allowed in my space. I no longer tolerated toxic relationships, negativity, or mediocrity. My standards skyrocketed, and I began attracting people and opportunities that aligned with the new version of myself. The moment I stopped tolerating nonsense, I started living with purpose. You see, disappearing wasn't about hiding. It was about healing. I had been through so much pain, betrayal, loss, and disappearing gave me the chance to sit with my own feelings, to process them, and to transform them into fuel for my growth. I emerged stronger, wiser, and more resilient because I took the time to face my demons in silence. You see, the beauty of disappearing is that it gives you clarity. When you remove yourself from the distractions of the world, you begin to see things for what they truly are. You gain perspective on what's holding you back, and you realize that you have the power to change your life. But that change requires you to step away from the noise, to disconnect so that you can reconnect with your purpose. For me, disappearing meant going inward. It meant doing the deep inner work that I had been avoiding for so long. I had to confront my fears, my insecurities, and my limiting beliefs that had kept me stuck. I had to be brutally honest with myself about where I was and where I wanted to be. And in that honesty, I found true freedom. Disappearing allowed me to reset. I no longer accepted excuses for myself. I stopped blaming my circumstances or my past for where I was in life. I took full responsibility for my future, and that shift in mindset changed everything. I realized that I was in control and I had the power to rewrite my story, and that's exactly what I did. The same is available for you today. If you feel stuck, overwhelmed, or lost, disappearing might be exactly what you need. Not physically, but mentally and emotionally. It's about stepping away from the things that drain you, the habits that hold you back, and the people who don't support your growth. It's about creating space for the person you're meant to become. When I reemerged after my disappearance, I was unrecognizable. Not because of how I looked, but because of who I had become. I no longer tolerated the things that once held me back. I no longer settled for less than I deserved. I raised my standards, and in doing so, I raised my life. People will notice when you disappear, but they'll be even more surprised when you return. You won't have to explain yourself because the growth speaks for itself. The things you used to tolerate will no longer faze you. The people who once disrespected you will no longer have access to you. Your boundaries will be stronger and your confidence will be unshakable. I became a high-value person not because I changed my outward appearance, but because I changed my inner world. I shifted my mindset, my habits, and my beliefs. I became intentional about my time, my energy, and my relationships. I stopped giving excuses and started taking action. And that transformation made me unstoppable. The same transformation is available for you. You don't have to wait for life to force you into a corner like I did. You can choose to disappear today. You can choose to step away from the things that no longer serve you and focus on your growth. You can decide right now that you're done accepting mediocrity in any form. Disappearing doesn't mean you're running away. It means you're stepping back so you can come back stronger. It means you're giving yourself the time and space to rebuild, to heal, and to transform. It means you're prioritizing your own growth and development over the opinions and expectations of others. When you disappear, you're not giving up. You're giving yourself the space to come back stronger. You're creating room for new opportunities, new relationships, and new levels of success. You're allowing yourself to evolve into the person you were always meant to be. The world will still be there when you return, but you won't be the same. You'll be stronger, wiser, and more resilient. You'll have a clearer sense of purpose and a newfound confidence in your ability to create the life you want. You'll be unrecognizable, not because of how you look, but because of the way you move, the way you think, and the way you carry yourself. Disappearing changed my life, and it can change yours too. It's not easy, but it's worth it. It requires you to be honest with yourself, to let go of the things that no longer serve you, and to embrace the discomfort of your growth. But on the other side of that discomfort is a version of yourself that you'll be proud of. So if you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed, I challenge you to disappear. Step away from the things that drain you and focus on your growth. Give yourself the space to heal, to reflect, and to rebuild. And when you reemerge, you'll be unstoppable. The power to change your life is in your hands. Disappear if you must, but don't stay hidden for long. Use the time to become the best version of yourself. And when you come back, you'll be ready to take on the world in ways you never, ever imagined. You deserve to live a life of purpose, success, and fulfillment. And disappearing might just be the key to unlocking it. Disappear from distractions, eliminate excuses, and re-emerge transformed, ready to conquer the world with newfound strength and purpose. You can do it. Peace and blessings, Dr. O.